Fate is easy to hate, to see what happens to you as unfair and to rebel. But maybe fate is not there to destroy you, but to make you into yourself. The Stoics knew this. Do not fight fate, love it because it is already you. This video explains how to stop fighting life and become friends with it. There are moments in life when no matter what you say, it feels like nobody understands. Everything feels like it is coming down on you, and a voice inside whispers, "Why does all this injustice always happen to me?" That is the moment you start arguing with your fate. People often see fate as a punishment, a test, a curse, or the price of a past mistake. But the Stoics did not think this way. For them, everything that happens to you is part of the orderly functioning of the universe. Fate is not an external enemy, but a kind of plan woven into you. To resist it is to resist yourself. When life corners you, your first reaction is often, "Why me?" But this question does not save you. It only pulls you deeper into an inner void. When people cannot make sense of what happens to them, they first look for a culprit. Sometimes they blame fate, sometimes themselves, and most of the time others. But for the Stoics, this search was pointless, because blaming the external world is shifting responsibility outward. Yet one of the core principles of Stoic philosophy is this: you cannot control what is outside, only what is inside. Marcus Aurelius says, "Everything that happens in your life is suited to your nature." If it is suited to your nature, it is also suited to the universe. So you should question not what happens to you, but what you think about it. How much something breaks you is not about how bad it is, but how resilient you are. This is where the first encounter with fate happens. You struggle not with the event itself, but with the meaning you give it. And most of the time you lose this struggle. Because the more you fight, the more attached you become. You expect more. You try to control more. And when you face what you cannot control, you break. But what if you saw this breaking as an invitation? What if you assumed fate is trying to tell you something? Maybe everything begins when you stop resisting. But accepting this is not easy, because humans have ego, expectations, dreams, and plans, and life does not care about any of them. No matter how much you try, sometimes it just does not happen. That is where inner conflict begins. The more you fight fate, the more you get exhausted. You have entered a war you cannot win, and worst of all, you begin to blame yourself. But Stoics suggest another way: surrender, acceptance, and even love. The exhaustion of fighting fate is heavy. Trying to fix everything. Trying to make everything go right. Trying to stand despite everything. This is where true exhaustion begins. That endless urge inside humans to resist everything. The desire to control everything. The battle to make life go according to your plan. Over time, it drains you, because life never flows exactly as planned. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus says, "Do not wish life to go according to your plans. Learn to go according to life." But from the outside, this may seem like surrender. Yet this is not surrender. It is wisdom itself. Because a person cannot truly rest without stopping the fight with fate. Fighting fate constantly pulls you into the future. What if this had happened? Why him and not me? These questions never end, and they steal you from the present moment. It is as if fate has thrown you into a labyrinth of uncertainty, and you keep forcing a door that has no exit. That is why what Stoics recommend is not only patience, but awareness. Do you know what you are fighting for? Are you really fighting for your own life, or for the version of life you think should exist? Fighting fate does not make you a hero. Sometimes the greatest heroism is letting go, because some burdens become heavier the more you carry them. When you stop fighting your fate, maybe for the first time you truly begin to live. Nietzsche says, "Love your life so much that you would not want anything to be different." This is Amor Fati, not just acceptance, not just endurance, but loving fate. Trying to understand what happens to you, giving it space, and seeing it not as an enemy, but as a teacher. Because life always teaches you something. Only most of the time, it teaches through pain. This is one of the most radical Stoic ideas, and perhaps the most transformative one. Life does not always give us what is easy. Sometimes it brings pain, loss, and experiences whose meaning we do not understand for years. But Stoics say, you cannot change what happens, but you can choose how to live with it. Loving your fate. But this love is not romantic attachment. It is accepting that everything you experience, good or bad, shapes you. and not only accepting it, but becoming one with it. Live not as "this happened to me," but as "I chose to live this way." It is not only about accepting your brokenness, your lost paths, your tears, and all your missing and wounded parts, but learning to be proud of them, because every wound makes you deeper, and the greatest gift of fate may be your transformation. Maybe everything you live through is your transformation. And the moment you realize this, you are no longer the victim of fate, but its partner. Life becomes not "why did this happen?" but "I am grateful that it happened this way." That is Amor Fati, not fighting fate, but dancing with it. In modern life, loving your fate may feel difficult. Today, while constantly wanting more, comparing ourselves on social media, we live not with reality but with expectations, and disappointment becomes inevitable. But what if we think like this? Everything that happens to us happens exactly as it should. Maybe for a change of direction, maybe to turn inward, maybe to grow. You started loving your fate, and then what? When the fight ends, only silence remains. And in that silence, the deepest realizations are born. You stopped fighting fate, learned not to judge your pain, to accept your past, and even to love it. But now you stand somewhere completely different. This silence may feel frightening at first, because life has always been about running, and now you are stopping for the first time. When the external world becomes silent, the noise inside becomes clearer, and that inner voice starts asking real questions. Who am I? Why am I living? Am I truly living this life or just passing time? In Stoic wisdom, these answers are not found outside because the external world is always changing. But the inner world is your real space. And perhaps for the first time you realize that what you call fate was actually designed for your inner growth. Difficulties did not come to break you, but to shape you. Pain did not touch you to leave you behind, but to awaken you. Life has always been sending you a message. But to hear it, you first needed silence. And now you stand at the edge of a life without struggle. You are no longer someone who reacts, but someone who chooses. Because now you understand, it is not what life did to you, but what you did with life. That is what matters. This life is full of millions of things we cannot control. But we can choose how to respond. This is where freedom begins. No matter how much resistance you show, some things will not change. But you can change. And maybe the moment you stop fighting your fate is the moment your fate softens toward you. The choice is yours. It is not what life did to you, but what you did with life. That is the real point. Maybe fate is not an external destiny. Maybe fate is the relationship you build with what happens to you. The same event can be destruction for one person and awakening for another. And every new day asks you the same question again. What are you choosing today? Fighting life or understanding it? Because the choice is yours. Always yours. And if you remember one thing from this video, remember this. The place where fate finds you may be the place where you find yourself. Do not run from your fate, talk to it. Amor Fati, love your fate, because it is the path that makes you who you are.